Welcome back. A short break after a game where we went into not really knowing what we were expecting, but it kind of served. It did kind of serve. If you ask me, Renata, the MVP player of this game. But what do you say, my lovely desk?
Ooh, I have to also compliment Renata. Like the Renata was really key in that game. I mean, we predicted it kind of from the draft that this Renata has so much agency, blocking the engagers, blocking the Nocturne, taking out the Akali, and I think it took like nearly half an hour for the enemy team to take down them F1 time because wherever the Nocturne was, Renata was already there.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I just wanted to quickly check the name, so because it says something like maybe that is a breakout name. So Lorsia, I hope I pronounced this right. It's Lorsia. It might be a name we might see more in the future because there was some sick stuff from the Renata. Honestly, like game-changing stuff, as you already mentioned, and yeah, loving it, loving it. Like that was amazing.
Pun intended there, I take it. With your game-changing stuff. Yeah, no, there was fantastic hostile takeovers, great handshakes to just stop the rail in her tracks. It was, yeah, just all around really, really good. I do think that we have a clip ready for us to look at. Yes.
Yes, we do, and the clip goes great in complementing to what we already said. Like we can always see that there was great effort being made by Nocturnes for Akalis to go into the flank, but there was always these handshakes keeping the MF alive. You have always the bailout to create some space for the Misfortune to kite around, and it will take a few more team fights after this before it was even able to bring down the MF one more time. But we can see how much and how big the struggle was for Infuria to just even get close to the backline.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of funny because in this clip as well, they're kind of on top of each other, while they get Inferior tries to split them up, and just tries to get this one pick, but they weren't allowed to, and then the draft just won. And that team fight also was really important because it resulted into a soul. So from there on, honestly, from that team fight on, the game was just over. But even before that, they already did a very good job. It just wasn't really that interesting clips, but they played well to always get the drakes. It was a close game, to be honest, but they always had this one little edge, and that often makes the difference to just get this drake. And with this, win you the game. A very important game because it keeps them alive right now. I mean, it's not the game we focus on, but maybe worth to mention. They gotta face SK.
Yeah, worth mentioning for sure. It's a team that's been showing up incredibly strong, right? SK. So mountain to climb, who knows? And who knows if the Renata will be led through. Perhaps SK have done their due diligence there and will ban it out this time. But yes, good turtling and a really good game plan from Ionian girls to close that one out. I do believe we have another clip coming up where we're going to hear from Starry about her expectations for the upcoming year here in Game Changers.
I'm friends with Zenith. We talk a lot. Last year we used to do a lot of 1v1s, and I'm really excited to play against her. I always have a good time. So her and Mental Rush are on my mind. I think expectations-wise, I'm pretty confident in my team. Everyone should be. But I love my teammates. I think I have the best team. I think my teammates are amazing.
Right. Well, we heard about Mental Rush here. Sadly, we are not going to be watching Mental Rush right now because we are going to be covering G2 Hell versus Eterna, guys. And this is a matchup that some of us have seen before.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it happened the big final of last year when we were in Paris live on stage, and we had an amazing series when there were so many spicy picks be coming out, and I still remember being on that big stage and all the names being called out, and everybody was so happy. So I really hope that this game can channel the same energy, because there's also a little bit of chance for G2 to take a bit of revenge onto Eterna because the series was very, very close.
Yeah, indeed. But it's also interesting to look at, obviously, that we have like new rosters, a lot of new changes coming in between them. I mean, some players did the same, some changed, some role swapped, see encounters. So they have a role swap on either side. But I think one more thing to mention is actually today, which is obviously kind of unfortunate because it doesn't give us the full view. It's already early when we watch them against SK. It just changes when you have a different player. And today, Sashi is unable to play. So we will see them with Ivy, who actually had quite a good performance against SK as well, I gotta say. But obviously, it's still like a different mid laner, and I think Sashi was like one of the main nuisances against G2 into Rim back then. And now it's obviously though also Cultist mid, which I mean I really will be excited when they play against each other. It's sadly not gonna be today, but I'm already excited to see Cultist yet again on G2 and how she's gonna do on mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, a substitute player always kind of changes up the dynamic of a team and
exactly
the comfort. So, would you say that you're leaning towards a G2 Hell victory here then today?
Kind of tough to say. I mean, I'm gonna like the thing is, first of all, best of one's always very, very random, and also then I have Sashi, but I gonna stick to my prediction here. I am thinking G2 Hell will finish this tournament on second place over Eterna, so I'm gonna go with G2 Hell.
All right, Drixcalis?
I think G2 looked shaky today. I mean, like, maybe we have been just lucky and saw the one game where they faltered a bit, and then the game afterwards they lost. But I think that G2 hasn't been, like, on the heights that they can still reach and will probably reach in due time. But I think if you can, like, beat G2 Hell, and if you can, like, attack them, it's probably gonna be today. And I also think that Ivy did a great job. Great job. Oh god, the German accent came out. Did a really, really great job. So I'm really hoping for Eterna win here, because I really love to see my girl C on the support position. She has done a really great job in the Alistar game. Even though the matchup wasn't favorable, they did really well in the early game, and I think that was where G2 looked weakest today.
Yeah, I mean, maybe one more thing to like kind of compare the teams and what we've seen. It's really, really hard how they end up like playing for real, because like we saw a game of each of them, but both look very like we want to find good angles to team fights, right? Still playing macro good, like macro well, but then looking for the right angles to team fight. And I must say, against SK, Eterna made their draft work, even though I think their team fight wasn't that great. It's only SK turned it around when they started realizing we need to play front to back, and Eterna lacked engage. But overall, the Eterna's fight still, despite their draft, looked very, very good. And I think G2 Hell, they won more because they really punished mental rush, not like pushing waves and all these kind of things, like pushing waves and setting up vision, and G2 Hell finding easy flanks. I don't think Eterna will give them that. And I think when it comes to team fighting, I was still more impressed by Eterna today than G2 Hell. So I also feel like G2 Hell needs to show us something more, even though I said I think G2 Hell is going to win, to show us that they are better than Eterna.
Yeah,
so, sorry. You go ahead.
No, just want to say I get like mixed signals from Josh. He doesn't want to like bet on one horse completely. He's like torn between G2 and Eterna.
I mean, it's definitely a close call here, right? Like both of these teams, as you mentioned, they have been in the finals before. They're good teams. They face each other, and what we've seen before from Eterna was definitely this like the cohesiveness that you were talking about here, Josh. But so, what is it that you want to see from G2 then in that aspect to try and go toe to toe with Eterna and come out on top?
Yeah, so I would really like to see them have strong side lane play. I gotta really check. Do they have? Oh, they have blue side. Okay, Eterna had side choice and they picked red side. That's a good choice by Eterna. Because it's kind of one thing. Starry is often just like this tank player. Not only tank player, she also plays stuff like Gragas, but she's kind of the utility player. Let's put it like this. This is a better word. Utility player for the team. Creating space, just being the front line, and she does that so well. But you never see her like on like hard split pushers whatsoever, you know. So if G2 Hell had red side, I think you could set up Riosna, who's more known for that, to have like crazy picks that can have a lot of good either flanks or a good side lane push. That's what I would think would have brought the edge to G2 Hell. But with Eterna being red side, there might be a chance that we just see Starry taking the R5 just to have a cohesive comp for Eterna, and at the same time making sure that Riosna can't do that, which I would say would be what could put G2 Hell in the driver's seat.
Definitely. I mean, we have seen in the previous G2 game that there was like the counter picks coming out, especially against Eterna, where she had like a really hard time with the Aurora on her lane. So she hasn't had like the pop-off game today yet. So maybe this is the opportunity to also repay a bit to Story that has been like beating her also last year in the competition when she was still with Galleons. So I really hope that we get like a very competitive top lane, and I really hope that we get like hyper carries for bot lane, because we have seen Izeri a lot like on these picks that really are like Zeris. We have seen lots of Smolders. The Astrid is also in there. I wouldn't qualify as a hyper carry, but definitely like champions that want to challenge in the later game team fights. And if I think about that, I really also always think about Clef. So I hope that bot lane gets a lot of attention from both junglers in this game.
Yeah, I really think it will. Like, just because of how draft might turn out. I think EUniverse will not get the chance to get the counter pick. They will not give her that. It's kind of what I'm expecting. And then a lot of the focus is going to just be, like, pick strong bot lanes. Potentially a jungler who can already be strong pre-6, or maybe a jungler like, I don't know, like Nocturne, who can just, or Pantheon. Pantheon actually a big one where you could just use the Grand Starfall to just throw yourself in. So it's kind of what I'm expecting, to be honest, that comes out of the draft.
So we're looking for junglers with like a lot of agency, kind of taking that away from top lane, if I'm like following you here. But you're talking about scaling ADCs, right? Are you thinking about any in particular here, Xscales?
Oh, I mean, actually, I normally am a big hater. But today, I wouldn't have anything against a Smolder. Like, I haven't had my fair share of Smolders, and normally, you have to understand, during like 2 years ago, yes, I'm old, EC, we had like a 100% Smolder win rate in like over 80% of the games. And also last year, it was very prominent. Yes, it has been nerfed, but I'm craving some Smolder today. I don't know why, but I would definitely love to see some dragging, fighting, scorching fire, just like the Sun is currently doing in Germany. So I'm really hot for that pick.
Agreed. I mean, there's something about Smolder as well. Like, Smolder has been nerfed, but you know, it's always like Smolder, if it's good in solo queue, it has a good win rate in solo queue, it's probably going to be even stronger and competitive, just because it can just, you know, chill scale up. There you can play around what the Smolder needs to do. In solo queue, you're just like, you're just playing Smolder and you're like, don't fight. I just need my stacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't, oh, no. But in team, it's like, don't fight. And they're like, yeah, okay, fine, we wait for your stacks, because that's what we need to do. Thank you, team. And Smolder, despite the nerfs, still looks strong, even in solo queue, sitting at a flat 50% win rate right now. Just looking at like early data. But it's kind of like, if you, like I said, Smolder and competitive, more likely to get these stacks, more likely to get to the point where the Smolder has the biggest impact. So I actually think it would be a great pick, as Rixella said.
Yeah, and I mean, we have to think about this. Like, Clef is the CEO of Smolder. Like, she is literally the CEO of picking these picks and going for like these scaling drafts, just as they used to have to do it in like Chester Gaming back at EEC. So she's probably gonna hate me for saying this, but I really want to see her on this pick and fulfilling that hyper late game scaling role.
Yeah. While we're talking about this Smolder pick, right? Because we still can see that there's a lot of runes available for Smolder to go to. But now in this patch, we've seen some changes to Blackfire Touch. Do we think it's still gonna come out? Because now the interaction with Black Cleaver that made it so strong on Smolder is not available anymore. So are we still going to see the Blackfire Touch? Are we going back to a precision rune instead? What do you guys think?
I mean, I just checked. I just checked. Deathfire Touch is still like it. Maybe people could got something different, because obviously the Black Cleaver interaction was OP.
It was too broken. It was so broken.
It was OP. But I still think that Deathfire Touch overall is a nice rune for Smolder. And I see it's still working well. If I check just rune stats, I mean, stats aren't always everything. You also need to apply it to you know, what purpose they serve, and sometimes also different purpose between solo queue and competitive. But just looking at it right now, we don't have much like competitive info on it, but in solo queue it's still doing well, so I expect to still see Deathfire Touch on Smolder, and it's still being strong.
Yeah, I mean, I might see like some people go like Fleet Footwork to have like some extra mobility, because we have seen also today how important it is to be able to dodge Bard ultimates, to get out of fight situations. But I think it's just gonna be like very dependent on the player.
Yeah, absolutely, and the matchup perhaps as well here, because what are you going to pick? Like if you're going up against a Smolder in this state, then what would we say gonna be your best pick to go into as we head into draft soon?
Yes.
Yes, here we are.
Yeah, we're getting to draft.
We've done it. We've made it into the draft, and now it's the real question that the draft is going to answer for us. Are we or are we not going to see the Smolder pick?
Let's
Probably
see and
not. We
find
talked
out.
about it so much.
Yeah, like now that we ban it. Like,
if it's not
no.
even getting banned, if it's not getting like covered, we're in danger, Josh. But it's even if there's no Smolder, it's the grand rematch of last year's final.
Yeah.
Looking so forward just for them to clash again, because everybody is always predicting that G2 is gonna win. And I think when last year Eterna came out of nowhere, also with like some NA players, I think people were like very excited, but also didn't expect that. So G2 has another chance this year to maybe gain their crown, because they have won like every female cup, but they're still missing the Game Changers Rising now, and that's definitely a medal they want to gain this year. Or like a crown, because the trophy is like skewed shaped crown.
Interesting.
I actually haven't
ban,
seen the
though.
trophy.
You haven't. You have to look. It
Oh.
basically looks like the Eterna logo, but it's like a little crown on top
Made
of a
for them.
trophy stand.
Exactly, meant to be then, right?
Yeah.
But all right.
Scripted.
Scripted.
But we are seeing a Nautilus banner on blue side as well. It's very
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, it could be something they might be scared of on like the R3 when you just get into second ban phase and you can ban out Braum. But it's also something that well, we've seen Alistar in the last game. I didn't check the other drafts actually, but when I saw last week, no, that was a few weeks ago actually. There was a lot of Karma that's also banned, but a lot of Enchanter picks. So interested to see why they ban the Nautilus, as they're just gonna go for the Ezreal, which opens up a
Again.
lot of picks, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I mean, this is like the second time today that we see Zeri in the stream on the Ezreal, so maybe she has been just Ezreal gaming the whole day, and I mean, good for her if she enjoys it for a 5th game in a row. But I love that Eterna is going the route that we were hoping for. Of course, it's not gonna be a Smoldy. The Smoldy is unfortunately dead. But we see a hyper carry, and that makes me very happy, because there's still Nico open, there's still Seraphine open, and those are picks that normally he loves.
Yeah, I mean, but this, you know, Yunara Lulu, super solid matchup, right? Now that
Yeah.
Lulu is still open, why not just pick it up?
It's also a very, very free matchup into Ezreal, because like early game might still be a bit, you know, like level 1 of Ezreal is still good, but then when you hyper carry, you can just free scale Ezreal, won't put out that much pressure, and then you just scale so hard. Hyper carry can nuke all neutral objectives, can kill tanks in team fights, paired up with the Lulu to get the best out of the Yunara. Very, very strong. But I like the Bard as well, and the Pantheon to just now throw it back at Eterna and say that Yunara is going to be in danger.
Yeah, it's like a cosmic combination with the Bard and the Pantheon coming in, just throwing like global ultimates from everywhere, trying to catch the Yunara. So I hope that Clef has put on her dancing shoes today, because she will definitely need them just to try to get out of the way of these carries. On the other hand, we get the Mundo, and I love to see Mundo. We have also seen Thorn jungle it a few times last year, I think. But on the other hand, it'd also be like a good top lane pick if you would want to flex it, but on this case, I think, especially against the Pantheon, it's a fine option for the jungle, and definitely with the carry of the Yunara, you just want some beefiness. You just want some frontline that is able to tank for you and make sure that the Yunara is kept safe.
It's also something, and I think it's like a general weakness, that if someone just B1's Ezreal, we also have seen it, I think it was SK who just locked the sign in against Eterna, who did the same one with the B1 Ezreal. You won't have a lot of damage into tanks. Right now, that's really missing on G2, and it's something they need. So how are they gonna fix that? Because mid lane and top lane, the options are always hard, especially on blue side, if now Eterna decides to last pick the top lane.
Yeah. Also, just the Mundo super annoying for Ezreal, because he can't
Yeah.
work around him. It will just fall against him. And Mundo is so tanky, he doesn't really care. And we get more tankiness. Oh my god, it's a protect the president combo. We're gonna protect the president,
Yeah.
and the president is Clef. And I love this, because this is already giving me so much Chester Gaming vibes. After all those years, they're coming back. But yeah, just tankiness, just frontline. Wherever the Pantheon and the Bard is
Wait.
going, Galio is gonna come with the heroic entrance.
Are they?
Is that
Is this locked?
Wait a
Is
minute.
that-
Is this the
not
Caitlyn
correct?
mid lane?
Is it Ezreal
Oh my
mid?
god,
No,
it's Ezreal mid lane. I
Yeah,
Ezreal
guess.
mid lane.
Ezreal mid lane.
Okay.
Oh!
Okay, okay, that changes a lot because I mean Yunara really suffers in the laning phase against Caitlyn.
Yeah. On
Also-
the other hand, is Caitlyn really that good against all these tanks on the early?
No.
No, it's just this
Oh.
is just purely
Oh.
there to win your lane. But my goodness, Eterna is really pulling out the bulky boys
I
here.
mean, yeah, I agree. Like, you have so many tanks, you're not gonna get through them.
No.
Only thing is that Eterna might like a bit more damage if Yunara. Like, you need to one-shot Yunara to have a chance as G2 to win fights, because as soon as Yunara is out, you might not have damage into tanks, but Eterna won't have damage either. So also Ezreal 80 pick into Galio, that is solid too.
Yeah.
Caitlyn will get a lot of lane control, and what I find most interesting in Rixalis, I think you're gonna agree, is Viosna on Ornn.
That's weird.
Something. Like, we never see on tanks. I'm excited for this, actually. Like, I'm excited to see her.
I mean, I normally love it when like top laners get to use their potential, but like Riosna and Ornn, that's like so much missed opportunity.
But we do have to point out here that production did mention this is their assumption for the role, how it's being spread.
Yeah.
So this is not locked in. We are going to see what is locked in later.
I mean, Caitlyn mid lane would be something. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time in a tournament, actually in a female scene tournament, that we would have seen a Caitlyn mid lane. But yeah, maybe there's gonna be some surprises waiting up for us, because actually when I'm thinking about Uzeri, I'm mostly thinking about like the Ezreal. But yeah, I think in this situation we can kind of assume that the Caitlyn is gonna feel very comfortable against the Yunara just in the bot lane matchup. Meanwhile, you can play the Ezreal on AP, so Kelso should be fine in just juggling some free scaling into Galio.
And I mean, Kelt is coming from a ADC role, of course, very comfortable on that Ezreal as well.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, one more thing, the bout Caitlyn Ezreal should give them a lot of pressure. Even though Ornn is actually a solid matchup into Sion to get early pressure. So there might be a lot of invades, because G2 knows they need to put a lot of pressure onto Eterna early game already. It's something Sheena's very known for and very strong at. So I think this is just what we're gonna see. G2 Hell with a very, very proactive, strong early game.
I just want to see Mosh Pit. I just want to see them like all brawl in mid lane, minute 5, just all of them making the agreement to take a fight in the mid lane and just brawl it out. Right here, right now.
Gentleman or gentlewoman's agreement over here.
All meeting in the mid lane. No, I think this is really the perfect game to close it out for today.
Yeah.
Because like both of these teams are, I think, already locked for like making it to tomorrow. And also it's like the rematch of the finals. So I like that both of these teams are going really deep into their pockets, showing us something like unexpected. Because I think showing Ezreal mid lane so early is like full of vibes, right? And I love that they're just vibing.
Yeah. It's just vibing. And you know who else is vibing? Our casters. Time to toss it to them. It's Rob and 1,000 Eyes. Take it away.
And welcome back, everybody, as we are just waiting for our game to start. And what a draft we have gotten, as I think we got more confused the longer the draft went.
Yeah, and they were getting out to the wrist. I'm going to say here, I significantly prefer Eterna's draft. I think it's you've got some chonky people in the front line. You've got a Yunara with a Lulu, and you can easily see how they want to play out team fights. It feels almost like the loss that they had earlier to Escavarosa on stream, the front to back.
Hold on. I called this.
Look
at where these champions are
they're
going.
actually Caitlyn. Well, I mean, Cultist was an ADC, so bringing them out in mid lane, not a surprise. But the Caitlyn Bard usually is more aggressive, so it's interesting they have gone for this. But yeah, want to see how this Caitlyn matchup now works into the Galio.
I specifically, while the desk was going, I was like, it might be Caitlyn mid into this Galio just to really, really pressure him. And looks like that is going to be the case, as we are going to get that Caitlyn for that early lane pressure presence, try and get this Galio to avoid getting these ult rooms down. Meanwhile, Ezreal, Bard in the bot lane, pretty safe, looking to just try and poke as much as possible. Top lane, it's big boys doing big boy things, just smacking each other around a bunch.
It was quite interesting to hear Josh on Desk talking about the lane matchups here, because you do have to look for really inroads to accelerate the game for G2 Hell, because as we probably can say, as you get later, the team fighting should really be in the favor of Eterna. Very easy to execute. We do see Sheena going very aggressive, but collapse. Kill.
Yeah, that's going to be a kill going over. Colombiana is down, and that's going to be another kill going over to Eterna early. A massive failed invade early on for G2 Hell.
And bringing Lumi over as well, the Bards. She has to burn a flash.
And Ignite.
And
took E level 2.
And took E level 2. But I, what you see is that Sheena is very, very good at trying to find early invades. But when you're able to answer them like this and get kills on the board onto a Mundo, as well as onto the Galio, already this matchup you talk about in mid lane. Well, Caitlyn will still push, but Galio getting a bit extra gold, just having drop CS instead, means that Eterna feel very, very good. This is now going to be very much an uphill battle for G2 Hell to climb out.
100%, and that's always why, when we were watching this draft, the thing I said was I feel iffy about Pantheon, because Pantheon is one of those champions that you either take over a game and go crazy in the jungle, or you really feel very useless because you can't clear the fastest. You're basically a stun bot if you fall behind, and that's not going to do a lot into this team. There's a Galio, there's a Lulu, there's a Mundo. You're feeling a little bit of a struggle here if you fall behind on Pantheon, and we've already seen that happen on Sheena.
And in addition to that, if you want to try and get an ultimate down onto sides, there's a Galio, as you've already mentioned, not just in terms of being a tank, but also can match that engage as well from the Panth from range. Then you've got the factor that, look, where do you really want to play? Well, you're not really going to put the Scion too far in the dirt, so the Pantheon pick is going to struggle very much in this game. The matchup in jungle, actually, we saw Mundo fall out of favor with some of the nerfs and some of the clear speed nerfs that champion received. But seeing it here makes an awful lot of sense, and realistically, unless you are able to sort of make moves early with your team as the Pantheon, you will be outscaled. Mundo at level 11 becomes scary as hell, and then on level 16 becomes now unkillable. So scaling on favor of Eterna, early game now in favor of Eterna. We're seeing a CS lead in mid lane as expected, but everywhere else very, very, very even. The only real gold lead is in that jungle matchup. 500 gold in the lead on the Mundo.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I will say too is just this game feels really tough the further we go into it, because like the desk said, if it turns into a brawl, you got 3 big boys, you got a Lulu and a Yunara just pumping damage from behind them, and that is a difficult thing to work through. Even for an Ezreal Caitlyn, they're gonna have decent damage, but you've just got an Ornn to match 3 frontliners, basically.
The biggest concern here is when Caitlyn, Ezreal, as you get later, can do damage to tanks. It's not, you're not talking Vayne Kai'Sa levels, but is going to eventually whittle them down once you get stuff like the LDR online for a Caitlyn, or you start getting towards that Soreldas for the Ezreal. But that is far into the future. I'm looking even at just 1-2 item fights, skirmishes. How do you actually get through just the beef that is on the side of Eterna? Genuinely, you're looking at, Pantheon doesn't do it. Ornn is really your only tank killing damage early. They can focus mid all they want here, but you've got to get meaningful advantages off of putting the Galio behind. It can't just be a case of going up 10, 15, 20, 30 CS. That's not going to win you the game.
Yeah. It is going to be difficult. We do see a little bit. Yeah, you got that CS lead in the mid lane. That's great and all, but eventually, this Galio is going to move around, and that's going to be difficult. I will eventually have a big Galio ult. If you're trying to dive with this Pantheon ult, and all of a sudden Galio just follows up and protects this Yunara, it's not going to feel the greatest.
On Desk, it was discussed. You've got to jump in, you've got to kill Yunara.
How do you do that?
How? That requires what? You're going to see the Ornn ult have to come down first. Pantheon's going to have to go for a Hail Mary right into the enemy team, and it's still going to get increasingly hard. If a Bard ult lands, for example, if you see Clef out of position, yes, opportunities arise. But if they do just play front to back, access is very difficult. Again, this lane in bot lane as well. Yunara Lulu, often we can see pressured out early in certain lane matchups. Is why I assume the Caitlyn was going bot lane. You know, Caitlyn as a champion alongside Bard can be very aggressive. That control of that lane has generally been ceded by the G2 Hell bot lane. Yunara getting the reset that she wants, coming back out with, you know, she's got the Carl already on board. You know, she's got the 33 stacks or 34 stacks already down on that one. Being a bit greedy there, and then going towards what looks like a Kraken Slayer. This is already the kind of pace Eterna wants. They just want it to be safe, slow, until it gets to those one-item spikes.
We do see a better invade on a blue buff this time around, as it will be picked up by Sheena. She'll walk away with that. Man, a lot of damage already being done by this Galio. Oh my goodness. Now, my thought here, once we do get into team fights, I'm looking at it going, yeah, maybe your best bet is just ulting Yunara in the backline and trying to whittle down these tanks in the meantime. Even that feels rough. And you can see now we're going to see Clef going in, and they're going to have to just disengage, get over the wall. Pantheon ult coming in as Sheena not able to get onto this Yunara. The flash and the heal, able to push Clef back far enough where Eterna are still safe.
But the first Pantheon ult, which is often used to create sort of map pressure, goes bot lane to salvage what was going to be Eterna's bot lane kind of running over that lane. And now Pantheon is sat there going, well, now I don't really have that to maybe impact mid as I want to, or impact or come back bot lane on a play that will result in a kill. It's just simply saved the lives of Azeri and Lumi, really. And now Mundo's already topside. Like, Mundo has used that and already gone, well, I'm going to take grubs. I can go back to clearing. Pantheon's behind me a little bit in terms of tempo. And yeah, I'm just relaxing. Thorn's just sort of got the lo-fi beats on and is just happy to clear.
Not only this, but Ivy on the Scion is going to have a much easier time shoving this wave for top lane control for these kinds of plays to happen. So it is just difficult for Weos now to be able to push out this lane to match. Look at how fast Ivy could just clear that wave. It's not a fun time. And yeah, okay, Pantheon ult did get flash and heal on the bot side, so there is like possibility to look there, but you've still got Lulu Polymorph, you've still got Lulu ult, you've got Barrier. It's still not the easiest gank in the world. It's going to be really difficult, and we have not seen any kind of anything that would help change the expectations of that being a really difficult lane to try and do something about.
And not only that, you got to find timers where they aren't covered by Thorn on the Mundo. They aren't, there isn't a Galio that could come and counter gank. Like, these are the openings, the timers that they're going to try and find here are going to be very slim. The ultimate from the Ezreal does land on Yunara, pokes them out a little bit, but still, they're pretty happy here if they're Eterna. They've got the kills, they've got the gold lead, only 1,000 gold, but again, they know how they want to play. Team fights, front to back. Very simple execution. They're just playing towards that. And this sort of interesting sort of debate in the draft of the Ezreal pick, and then we pick a Caitlyn, where are they going to go? Does Caitlyn pick in mid lane into the Galio? It's opened up a CS lead, but it's not opened up a huge advantage anywhere, and that's what they really need to be doing when they're playing double ADC. That was when there was the double ADC meta between with mid laners picking that up as well as bot laners. It was all about getting push in mid and using that to exert your will onto enemy jungle and to enemy side lanes. Hasn't happened here.
The best they've gotten is the second blue buff, and now we're going to see a gank from Thorn on the bot side, going to throw down that briefcase and then back away. Bard ready to try and follow up on that, but that will be Lumi just pushing everything away. It is control on the bot side, though, for Eterna once again. They're going for the Scuttle Crab, as they really would like to get this as the dragon spawns in 45 seconds.
The crab would be great for the control of River, but
Yunara caught.
It is, but there's nothing to follow up. The polymorph onto Sheena. Now the fight begins with those cooldowns down.
Galio ult being used. They're going to try and turn this one back around. There's a lot of damage being done, but they're not able to do much. There's a huge flash Lulu ult with the taunt from the Galio. I am not able to do enough. Here comes Pantheon. There's a lot of low HP bars. This is where Pantheon wants to be. G2 find a way to get this game going for themselves. A 3-0 in favor of G2.
It initially looks great for Eterna, honestly. They force their members out of River. They pick up that crab. But it's just Coulter's off on the side, just poking down with the Caitlyn. The play comes through from Eterna. The multi-man Galio taunt into the knock-up. But there's no more damage to follow up. Clef was already taken to about half HP from Caitlyn damage, a little bit of damage here, a spear there. And all that means is slowly but surely they get whittled down. And these tanks, which I'm talking about 1, 2, 3 item tanks being unkillable, they're nowhere near that at the moment. The hut's still incomplete now, and Ivy in top lane is being run down by 3.
Yeah, this is just going to be a dead Scion. That is a kill. Well, for Lumi. Not sure if that's exactly where you wanted it to go, but it is going to go there nonetheless. We'll see Ezreal survive that chase down. But yeah, that is huge. And we talked so much, about that CC, that front line that exists for Clef to be able to just do so much damage. But when you tank so much damage early on in that fight and you can't follow up when your team finally does engage, that doesn't work for the team composition as well.
And just to mention, we said about there being some beefy boys on the side of Eterna. This Galio is not going towards a tankier build. Going towards what at the moment is looking like that pen build, the one-shot Galio build with Storm Surge maybe into Shadow Flame, does mean that you have to go for very sort of snap flash plays on that champion rather than go towards sort of, well, I'm just going to sort of walk at you, tank a bit, I'm going to dash in with a Justice Punch, then get the taunt. You really have to go for the fast plays. Interesting to see that coming through, because this lane has just got gradually opened up more and more in terms of CS. 600 gold lead just in that mid lane for Cultists. And Eterna, they did get that second Drake, so they can choose to stop the clock, so to speak, delay the game by 10 minutes, 5 for each dragon they've taken, if they really want to, just to get those tanks and that front line online.
I will say one of the things that we did see that does scare me a little bit, that flash Lulu ult into Galio taunt, that is terrifying. That is a combination. The one thing that you have is the fact that Galio can't charge the taunt and flash. That kind of negates that. If Galio flashes with a Lulu ult to knock everybody up while the taunt charges, all of a sudden it feels like Galio flash taunt.
Yeah, it's hard if that can come down again. If that play can come down again from Eterna, I think when there's a bit more damage online and the Yanara isn't at 50% HP, that very much likely ends up in being multiple kills and a runaway game for Eterna. So it was good to see, to be fair. G2 Hell, which we are still not favouring in the comp because the gold lead that they opened up has now shrunk back down to 800. They have shown a little bit of life, but still, I think they are very much on a time at this game. 1,000 eyes, and they still need to keep sort of their pedal to the metal. They need to keep going. Use that Bard, global sort of global pressure, the sort of map pressure Bard can produce with the amount of movements he can get from the chimes, with the magical journey. Keep pressuring now mid here, for example. Actually make plays, because you can't just sit back. Just buy tab eyes on the side, get some player steel caps on Eterna's champions, get a bit of HP, and they're going to become pretty much unkillable.
Yeah, I'm also... What boots do we have on this Caitlyn, by the way?
Those are the Gluttonous Creeps. Those are the upgrade to the Gluttonous Creeps. So they are the healing, the Omni-Vamp stacking ones, which give you damage above 50% and healing shielding power, essentially, or increased healing shielding below.
I was trying to figure out what boots they were, because I have not actually seen that. Because you don't see champs that build Gluttonous Greaves in the mid lane very often. No. But you don't see Caitlyn in the mid lane very often, I guess.
So, I mean, again, on current patch, for some champs, they are pretty good. I'm a bit surprised they are a favourite of ADCs, those boots, but obviously they don't get the upgrade. Just because getting Omnivamp means you can get, like, Bloodline and change a rune setup a little bit. There's about that Debo has changed some of the rune setups as well, but it is interesting here because I'm a bit concerned about spacing. I would almost like to have seen, like, a Swiftness boots more than I would like to have seen the upgrade to the Gluttonous Greaves, but still going to have a bit of healing in the fights. Eterna, first onto the Herald. They're forcing already G2 Hell out. They're a little bit split here, G2 Hell. Azeri on the bot side, 3 members on the top. They have chunked out Ivy, though.
I'm having to back away now. Yeah, this is kind of a big deal. You're stopping the tempo, because Galio now has to stop the back, walk back further, now back again, finally now getting back, and this gives a lot of time for resets to happen. This stops that Rift Herald from being started. TP now being used up at the top side here by Ive, who will move up and just stop this Caitlyn from trying to push up top side.
Yeah, and as you see, the goal, I'll just point out the goal lead again, it went from like 1.3k, down to 800, open back up to about 1.5, shrinking a little bit again, but it's all in the mid lane, pretty much. There's change in bot, right? Sure, Barda's a bit more gold, yippee. But really, it is down to Cultus here to use this gold lead effectively. She is pushing out sides. She is looking to maybe put some map pressure out and drag people around. So now they can play a 4-man fight without members, but there is a Galio in response here if they do try and play too aggressive here, G2 Hell. It's very cagey stuff at the moment with the dragon spawning in 5 seconds. Oh, it's just cut slow. It's just really slow.
Yeah, we are forcing... I don't know why we have the TP, to be entirely honest with you. Yeah, dragon is spawning now, but that feels really early, because now, look at Ivy in the top lane. Just pushing away. Sion is going to get a lot of damage on this tower. No, is going to TP into this fight as well. So it is going to be just both teams 5v5 as Eterna going to start up the dragon here. Very spread by G2 Hell.
There's not many Caitlyn traps down to deny the entry, and they're just going to flood in Eterna. They view this as their time to fight. This would be some point.
Hold up, Yunara, very low HP already, having to burn the heal. Yunara can't get into this fight very safely. Now getting the shield will start whittling down Weosta. Bardal to buy more time for these cooldowns to come back. Stun hit. Weosta trying to flash out of the Galio wall will be successful. Yunara not able to get any of these kills so far, but it is a dragon that goes over to Eterna. Both teams feathering their foot on the pedal, but nobody committing.
It was actually Sheena that stole it.
G2 Hell. It?
G2 Hell has that Drake. So even though it looks like, well, Eterna have the positioning, it was Sheena on the Pantheon that ended up picking up. I mean, the Pantheon tap Q smite does an awful lot of damage, but they were able to survive there as well. It looked like initially Weosta was going to struggle there to survive. The Bardock delays it long enough. It cuts off a couple of the tanky members of Eterna in that stasis. G2 Hell were then happy to get the dragon and back off and keeping their top laner alive. So the gold lead hasn't opened up, but they have slowed down a soul stacking sort of objective here for Eterna, which, if you think about it, would you really want to fight having to, not on your own terms, a soul fight in 5 minutes time? Absolutely not. So great to see from G2 pick that up. And they're picking up the Herald, so they are getting multiple things off the map here, which I feel like Eterna are seeding a little bit on the assumption that they are going to be able to scale into this game with the front line that they've got.
I mean, yeah, you don't have Galio ult, which makes it a little scary. Scion ulting down to the boss side, because in comes Cultus. This Mundo just came out of nowhere. Thorn just ready to beat the crap out of this Caitlyn. The trap doesn't matter. I'm Mundo. And that will be a kill over for Thorn. More Heartsteel stacks as well. That finally completed.
I love here seeing Cultus, even before this, recognizing I am not getting through these tanks without LDR. So second iteming the armor pen just to be able to kill them on a timer that makes sense, but too far up, flanked by Thorn. Mundo at this point has hit level 11, so despite not even having to use maximum dosage, just starting to become a real threat. Even on one item, he's going to start running down these AD carries. And the game isn't slipping away in any way. The gold lead has stayed the same. But as it staggers out, as they pick up a little bit of kill there, a little bit of kill there, Eterna are going to be able to take this into the next team fight very, very happy. Mundo going towards a Randuin's. He's going to slow down the sort of longer range backline as he runs in, not take that damage from the Sundered Sky crit, from the crit from Caitlyn. He's feeling, well, the Mundo himself is feeling very, very good. Thorn, she's going to be having a great game.
Yeah, I wanna call out some really interesting things. So that last fight that we had at the Dragon, Clef couldn't get into that fight because there was an Ezreal ult followed up by a Ornn ult that just chunked her to like 1/3 HP, right? Difficult to deal with. So what is the response to that? The response is for C to get a redemption, to reset that health bar if that poke comes through again.
They are trying to make a play here on top lane. They are going to get the turret and will very, very slowly take down the Scion. You can run as much as you like. G2 Hell are coming for you all the same. There is no unstoppable onslaught.
I don't know about the flash here.
There's support. Wait, hold on. It takes so long to kill him.
Oh my god.
Alive.
And now they've got the redemption for the heal. Ivy walking back forward. They use the TP. They're using a lot to keep this Scion alive. Now they need to try and do something about it. There is a Baron up, but it is way too early and too scary for that. They want to get this tower down, and it looks like they might be able to. So this is going to turn into a positive play as now Clef ulting, going forward. They don't have the best engage here, so they're just going to continue to walk them down. EUnara ult already going to be wavering away. And that will be a tower picked up as Eterna get a little bit more map pressure.
I thought with 3 members, even at this point, Sion would die a little bit quicker. Not the case. Starry surviving for a ridiculously long time. Wait, hold on! EUnara's caught by a Bard ult blind!
Oh no, and that is the worst possible scenario. EUnara is gone. Clef not here to help the team. Galio on a minuscule amount of HP, and unfortunately Sandro not able to find a way in onto the Galio because Galio just ulted out of the fight.
And right there you see, if they are able to break the EUnara, if they are able to catch Clef, Eterna have to scatter to the wind because all of their damage really at this point is sort of gone, especially with Thorn sort of backing off, wanting to take her camps. It means that G2 Hell can sort of get that 80 carry off the Rift, get some more gold into their back pocket. One thing to mention in that previous fight, as Eterna was kind of running down the top lane, is Cultist was left untouched and was doing a lot of damage to that EUnara as she tried to step forward. And honestly, I think if Cultist is left unchecked, she is going to be able to put down a lot of damage. The biggest question for me here is actually Thorn, because a Mundo with maximum dosage ticking takes a long time to kill. We haven't seen a 5v5 yet. That's what we're really looking for here for Eterna's comp.
You know what else we don't see here? We don't have any Grievous other than Bard.
Ooh.
So we have a lot of healing coming through. In comes the Sion, stops early. They're going to go look for this fight. Dragon smited a little bit early, and it's going to get picked up by Thorn. So Eterna grabbed that one in their face, and they're just going to walk them down. EUnara taking a lot of damage here. Finally get a stun onto this EUnara, but I don't think they're going to be able to kill her. Clef actually taking a lot of HP. They don't have the HP bars to continue fighting this. They found the kill onto Clef, and it's an easy fight from there on for G2 Hell. They lost the dragon, but they win the fight. They've got a Rift Herald in the mid lane, and they're probably going to get Baron too.
They're going to be walking onto that big purple worm. They've got to make sure to get as much off the map as they can off of this fight win, because again, the time doesn't necessarily feel in their favor. Cultist was just stood there hitting the entire fight, despite the Mundo being sat in her face. And when you look at Azeri, she survived for an incredibly long time on the edge. Well, obviously is alive now, but, you know, not really being touched. Viosna as well, huge amounts of damage. I don't know if in this replay, but in the overlay we had previously, that Ornn was doing almost as much as the 2 ADCs. Ornn is able to stand so tall here, just in front, and firstly Galio goes in, squishy Galio. Mundo walks forward, and they're able to sort of peel back onto that champion. And EUnara not able to get through Sheena on this Pantheon. The block coming through, and it's just a cleanup, and eventually for G2 Hell. This is the kind of game where this really shows what you're made of, because if you're able to play into a draft that many of us would have said, this is incredibly hard. You've brought out this Caitlyn mid lane. You've decided to bring out the sort of debate in draft. If you can make this work, that's a real threat going into playoffs.
Absolutely. I'm going to say here, the fact that this Pantheon was able to get onto the EUnara and force the tanks to turn back around is what gave that damage back over. Cultist was able to walk up because Sion had to turn around to peel this Pantheon off of EUnara, and that meant that the front line was not creating enough space. Caitlyn was able to just punch EUnara in the face there, and that's huge. If Clef cannot safely walk up and hit tanks...
Thor's dead. What?
Oh?
They're falling apart. Eterna are falling apart.
Uh-oh, we are not... on the same page here. Things are a little rough.
More than a little. I mean, if your jungler dies here, Mundo again wants to get to level 60 as much as possible. The stun lands onto Clef. Able to back off a little bit. It's a 4 versus 5, but you are not feeling happy. EUnara gets hit by the Ezreal ultimate.
And the Caitlyn ultimate. No, hold on. I want to call out Cultist is pushing mid lane and ults from behind and hits Clef with the Caitlyn ult from behind. No, none of the tanks want to back off to protect the EUnara. So it was literally just crisscross Ezreal ult, Caitlyn ult hitting at the same time. That was crazy.
You've got to be defending your main source of damage here much better, because honestly, in a lot of these fights, Clef has been sat around half HP for the majority of them, I would say. Not really been able to like free hit and feeling good about not being pressured. Cultist has put the damage down. We've seen, as we saw there, Ezreal ults land as well as Caitlyn ults. And now, if you are Eterna, you need to really make sure that you come together because you are behind 7,000 gold. It's a huge opening here for G2 Hell. You are able to sort of hit them with your wallets. They're already out on the map playing for top lane, and the response from Eterna isn't there. Galio's caught.
Galio's caught, and look at the damage here. Just already put out onto Ive, who will have to back away, uses the E, will survive. But it is a chunked out Galio that likely has to reset here. Who else is going to come up to help protect this tower? They don't have anybody, and that means it's slowly going to get sieged down by a Caitlyn Ezreal.
Thorn is here. She knows where she needs to be. The rest of the side of Eterna were looking for a bit of gold, and now they're eventually filing in. There's no Lulu. It's Clef first, so now it's only 2 people versus 4, and eventually the members are going to turn up. But the tower is taken very low. They're going to look for a fight here, though, I think, because they really should ruin the tempo. They cannot wait around.
Yeah, they're just going to go right in, and that might be Wiosta just getting killed. No flash, Bard Portal, and gets out alive. We had a lot of questions about this composition, but I think we have been proven wrong.
I still want to see a nice, clean closeout here when you've got this gold lead. You know, 4,000 gold is the difference just in mid lane. Cultist with the IE completed as well. Yeah. Switching. I mean, she said she wanted to switch from bot to mid lane, and she's playing the bot lane champions in mid, so maybe home is cooling. But looking really great in this game versus Eterna, which is a game that is very crucial for these standings as well. Let's not forget that playoffs very much works in a 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7 scenario. And the best seeding you can get, yes, you might feel you're guaranteed to play us, but you want the best seeding you can to avoid dangerous matchups in that first round.
Yeah. A reminder, both these teams 3-1. So this is a decider for seeding in a huge way. As Eterna, they're going to seed the dragon. Not going to look for the soul this time around. They're going to try and get some map pressure here because they want to get their waves out of their own side of the map because they have been stuck on their side of the map for a long time.
I do like some of the item choices from Eterna. We see 3 different plated steel caps, including 1 on Yanara, so that will really help. But C is caught. Well, manages to dodge out on that Bard ultimate, doesn't come down. They still need to come together because what their comp really does here is pushes 5. You get a little side lane push and go, but G2 Hello one's going in.
Yeah, and that's Ivy caught out. Going to take a lot of damage. Has to flash the Bard stun. Half HP. Not going to go down, but that is a lot of damage done. And we are looking forward here. Sandro takes a lot of damage. In comes Clef, who's getting protection from the Galio, but that's all the ults used. One of the frontliners has to leave. They don't have a Galio ult, and Eterna don't have anything left in the tank. Look at that damage.
That's why when you go for this sort of one-shot pen Galio build, you're no longer what we was threatening the Galio to be. You're no longer this tanky, disrupting frontline with the knockups, with the taunts. You are basically a one-shot assassin. And you were almost one-shot yourself there, that Caitlyn ultimate. That isn't even, that's a Kate with 3 items. That's not a Kate sat there at 4 or 5, taking your entire health bar down. And I'm now really concerned that we see Eterna. They aren't responding in kind in terms of the macro coming out from G2L. This is the first time actually I'm seeing Eterna sort of get a 1-4. They're able to get members out on the map in the right places at sort of the right time. And now we might finally see a 5v5. It's not on even terms because they are 7k in the hole. But at least something to where they're not dying first.
I see the CC shield popped on Thorn. As G2 are really just hard positioning against this Baron. They are keeping Eterna out of it. And again, just moving back over to push these waves and force Eterna to respond.
And they're not really able to get lane push here, Eterna. They are always the second to answer. And this is a bait here from G2 Hell. They're looking to go in.
There's a lot of frontline to chew through here. They're going to slowly whittle them down. Yunara still not able to get really into this fight. Ivy going down low in the HP will just die, and that's a problem. One of the tanks are gone. Redemption used. Ornal, Wiosta looking for a fight, and they're going to go right on to C, who is gone. Pantheon now flashing forward, has the GA on to Clef. Clef will not survive. Ive in trouble, will fall next, and G2 Hell pick Eterna apart.
And look at the damage on this teamfight overlay, 7,500 just from Cultus on the Caitlyn. Incredible performance from the talisman player of G2 Hell for so long as an organization. Absolutely massive. Thorn can try as much as she likes, but this Mundo will fall. 5 members left alive for G2 Hell. They will be taking the head-to-head against Eterna. They will end up going 4-1 in the group stage here, only dropping 1 game to Eclipse. And we will now see what Eterna's fate is for them in the bracket, because when you start dropping into those lower places, 5 through 8, all of those first-round matchups become increasingly scary.
Absolutely. And we questioned it. We questioned the draft. We questioned a lot of things about what G2 were doing. I think they cooked. I think it's safe to say they cooked.
I think they were also able to, despite a sort of failed early invade from Sheena, they were able to come back together, get a few crucial plays at times where the tankier composition can't come online.
Yeah. And just a couple of like key plays that were being made, right? Like, how many times did we see, okay, we can't directly hit this Yunara, but we did Ezreal ult and hit the Yunara with it, which was like a quarter HP. We had cultists, for some reason, flanking on the Caitlyn and getting a Caitlyn ult across, which is another like third HP. All of a sudden, Yunara's low HP. You have all the space in the world to just whittle these tanks down, take your time with this Caitlyn Ezreal, and then take the fight when it's advantageous for you. G2 really played that really well.
I'm very impressed. I'm very, very impressed that they were able to take a comp that I do think if the game is somewhat even and they aren't able to push leads early, it gets very hard for them to play around sort of third Drake fights when multiple items come online. They never let that get to that point. And Eterna, I think once they felt that they had their comp sort of sorted out right, Eterna felt like, okay, we can just scale a little bit and we'll be strong. They seemed a bit rattled after G2 Hell threw a couple of punches around that dragon, and they just sort of fell apart macro-wise. G2 Hell, on the other hand, just once they felt they got that lead, they just kept going and going and going onto sides, picking up gold where they can, picking up kills, and picking up the win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, congratulations to G2. Beautifully played game. Beautifully well done. But we are going to send it here. Oh, wait, no, we are waiting just for a second, but we are going to send it to the desk when we get the opportunity so they can break down this last game of the day. I want to thank you, Rob, for being here for these games, because we had some banger games, and I really want to see what... I know we always talk about it, but G2 versus Eterna is exciting every single time.
I think, in particular, I'm almost more excited now because this is obviously a full rebuild for G2 Hell, right? This isn't just a case of in the past they had
absolutely
like, Tifa, Karina goes, Sheena comes in, and then they sort of then Tifa gets replaced by Rim, things like this, right? There was a lot of roster moves that went down the line, and now they've really come into this and had to build from the ground up, right? Bringing in multiple members like Azeri, who I had again kept track of as a UK native ADC. Lumi comes in, Viosna comes in, and Sheena comes back. And I think that's just great roster building to be able to find these players when a lot of the players they had in the past have gone to other teams, right? You're seeing an awful lot of movement in the scene towards teams like SK Avarosa, Vitality Rising Beast, G2L pick up these pieces, and they are coming into the playoffs. They should be considered in that top 4 to go towards potentially winning the first title.
Absolutely, and we will have to keep an eye on them and all of the other teams that are going to be moving forward from today, but that is all for us on the casting desk. We're going to send it over to the analyst desk so they can break down that game.
Alrighty, here we are in the hot seat, but we are here after a lot of games today, guys. A lot of games. I'd love to hear what was your favorite series, we can't call it. Your favorite game of today. Josh, you start.
Oh, me. I want to.
Yeah, it's you. Go.
Okay. I mean, I think this game was very, very much like a banger because I felt like from draft it might have been a bit hard for G2L. Even with Invade, like we started with an Invade, it was like backfiring big time, and I thought already that game would be over. So for me, G2L against Eterna was very interesting because G2L just played so controlled, and it makes them a very, very scary team. While Eterna have still some questions to answer. They only finished 3-2, and the question is like, why. Like, is it maybe because your synergy is kind of lacking with like a substitute? Like that can happen. These kind of things. But G2's macro looked so good, and I think that was a very, very nice game. And then actually talking about the Eterna game again against ASK Avarosa, where that really, really strong team fighting. But ASK Avarosa, I mean, in best of ones that can happen, just had a good draft and then started playing front to back. But it was kind of like a really, really huge comeback. We saw that I think most didn't expect once Eterna had the lead. So I think those two games for me very outstanding. But we had a lot of great games today. So
yeah, there were so many. Yeah, my quick 2 cents is I really loved the last game. I loved the Caitlyn mid lane. It definitely was very memorable, and I loved the first game of today with like Mental Rush against G2. It had like a lot of spice, a lot of like counter picks, and we could like I think kind of see how the day went. And I'm really looking forward to see maybe Vitality tomorrow because they haven't lost a game and we haven't seen them yet.
No, exactly. That's something that we really have to keep our eyes on, of course, right? Vitality Rising Bees are rising to be the champions of this first phase here. But we will not keep you for much longer because it's been a long day. You guys have been on the entire day, and I believe that I think you will be back tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I will.
Yeah. I will be as well, so that's great.
For me it's a no because I have accents,
true,
but
true.
it's gonna be great. I wish you a lot of fun and
Thank
cross
you,
fingers
thank you.
that Eterna can come back stronger.
Yeah, but that's something that we're going to find out tomorrow. We will be back at 12 o'clock European time. So we will see you there and wish you a lovely evening for now. Thank you for watching.
Bye!